Hello guys, welcome to Global Happenings today. We have a trending news for you and it's an interesting one. And it reads, PDP governors, PDP chieftains clash over President Muhammad Buhari. What an interesting one. Before we go straight into the details of this interesting news, please, if this is the first time of seeing Global Happenings today, click on the subscribe button and beside it you see a bell notification icon. Go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update this channel. Alright, let's go straight into the news of the day. Two People's Democratic Party chieftains, PDP chieftains, Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State and David Umahi of Ebonyi State, were at daggers drawn last Saturday. The two of them were not finding it funny over a costly joke the former cracked on the latter's relationship with President Muhammad Buhari. It is widely believed that Umahi is the closest PDP governor to Buhari, and the governor himself has made no pretense about his closeness to the president, so much so that it was speculated in the past that he would defect to All Progressive Congress (APC) with time. But at the meeting of PDP governors and prominent party members, as Wike was honored by his Ikwere people in Port Harcourt, a joke the Rivers State governor made of Buhari-Umahi relationship struck the wrong chord in the relationship in Ebonyi State governor and almost resulted in fisticuffs between the two state chief executives. The meeting was said to have begun on a very jovial manner, an exchange of banter, then until Umahi entered and Wike jocularly said, welcome, here he comes, the Buhari's man." The remarks enacted and provoked laughter everywhere from other governors, but it did not resonate well with Umahi, who angrily asked Wike, "Who is more Buhari than you? I have many of your pictures with Buhari which are not known to the public." Umahi then threatened to make Wike's pictures with Buhari public if he was provoked further by his host. Was Wike rattled? Those present said he was speechless. Umahi's outburst ended the discussion on Buhari and the meeting moved to discuss other issues. Alright, this is quite an interesting one. We don't get to hear such secrets being opened up. For David Umahi, everyone knows who David Umahi is. He is one person that stands so strong with the government of the day. He had some time ago, some few months back, he has warned his aides then that anyone who dared to insult the government of the day, his colleagues, and even the presidency will have himself or herself to be blamed, as he will not take such for levity. And his aides have, aligned to that effect. It is still in his state that that's Ebonyi State now, Umahi that has decided that if the government of the day, the federal government, has proscribed the indigenous people of Biafra who happen to be from his side, so that's Igbo speaking part and other parts of Nigeria who have identified themselves to be IPOB members, he vehemently stood his ground. He said in his city, in his state, there's nothing like IPOB, there's nothing like indigenous people of Biafra. This is Nigeria, and he has not made it secret at all. He believes that this is one Nigeria, and in his dispensation it will remain so, even though the IPOBians have been crying woe over such statements, saying that Ebonyi land is their land, Ebonyi land is Biafran land. But the chief executive officer of that state, Ebonyi State, is not having it that way and is not seeing it in that light. And for that reason, he may not be having too much listing on that.
All right, thank you very much. I want to also talk about this issue. For me, it's not really a big deal for you to see me with Mr. President. After all, he's the overall executive, as the one controlling the affairs of Nigeria. So we sometimes it's good enough to put aside politics and let's run the show, the way it ought to be. But the case of saying if I expose your pictures to the public, that that they will be surprised or stuff like that. For me, I don't think that is really threatening. But the question is, why was this guy quiet? Because if such a thing is said to you and you know that your hands are not soiled, or you are not trying to eat from two parts of the pot, that's what I mean here, is you're not trying to sabotage anything, or maybe pick from PDP, or you don't have a future intention of cross-carpeting to the other party. Why should you be threatened? He is the chief executive officer of Nigeria. He's the overall in Nigeria. So I may go there to discuss some issues that I feel it's really bothering my own people, and just so that peradventure he can give me ears and help me out based on his experience and all of that. So that shouldn't have been any issue. But I think it has a lot to do with sabotaging the party which they belong to. I strongly believe that, but from what we have seen thus far, where Nigerians are overly interested in cases like this is when you are walking in line with the government anti-people's idea.
Well, for Wike, Governor Wike, during the time that the president, during the presidential tribunal between Atiku and Buhari, as soon as Atiku lost the last one in Supreme, he was one of the governors, one of the prominent politicians that quickly congratulated Buhari openly, such that even the PDP people were like, you don't even know if you're going to contest or if you're going to do something else, or if you have something up our sleeves. You quickly went ahead to congratulate Buhari. Were you expecting Buhari to win, or is it that you are happy that Buhari won and all that? During that period, he now started having fracas within the house, where he was now saying that he doesn't give a damn. Anyone who comes for his oil, he doesn't care if it's within PDP and other. There was, some sort of issues within the house. I could still sense that, that's why when Umahi says something about Wike being exceptionally close to Buhari, there could be some element of truth. Even when he openly said congratulations to the president, Muhammad Buhari, he said something. He said he's not among those who would in the daytime castigate or stay far away from the presidency, but in the nighttime you find them crawling back to Aso Rock begging for crumbs from the president. He said it openly. I'm talking about Governor Wike. He said it openly up that he's not part of those. If he believes something is good, he makes it open, he makes it there. And now Mahi is not saying the same thing now, something quite unique, that who is more Buhari than you? That if you provoke me more than you have, I'm going to make public some of these pictures that usually go to Buhari. No, we don't know much. We only know the ones that it's made public. The fact that when any of them walk Nicodemously to go and see the president, sometimes when it's time to talk, they can't talk. When they see some things that is happening, going wrong from the opposition, and it's against their people, their tongues are tied, their hands are tied, because they have Nicodemously, seen the president, against the backlash, against the problems facing their communities, their state. So when their people cry out, they seem to pay deaf ears, they seem to become mum, they can't talk, they become dumb, they can't talk, because they have so that some certain things they ought to, have as a right and privilege. That's where you see where average Nigerians, not take to Twitter and speak for their rights and laws. It's something that one of the Singerlink man said, the owner of Singerlink, CEO of Singerlink, said that I picked really. He said, when last did you see the governor of the day, when a policeman does wrong, goes out of his rights to do something against the populace, against their rights? When last have you seen a governor come and say to the policeman, don't do that, or protect the rights of his or her citizens? He said it's rare. Why? Because sometimes at the point of them playing politics, they have sold their rights. They have mingled, done things they ought not to do. So why would you be scared, really, to Why would you be scared if Umahi threatens to, divulge the pictures between you and Buhari, but you people doing something terrible? What's so spectacular about pictures? Why should pictures mentioning that alone scare you? Which means we don't even know some of the funny, they call it opposition, but some of the underground politics. That's why you see them. Underground politics being played in the name of politics, opposition party, ruling party. They play the politics. That's why you see them, that they can just unanimously stay back one day and make a decision, say, pass this into law. If not for Nigerians who have decided to take their bulls by the horns and cry for themselves. Some of these governors think that they're having your back may not actually be having your back. They're actually looking at their career, their political career, and they're using us to play pawns. Can imagine between the two of them. For him to have said that, and Wike could not even talk back. He's strong. Wike is not a man that you shut his mouth and looks at you. Umahi has proven to you. Umahi is not hiding it. We don't know if Wike is hiding anything, but I know that that's the singular statement is a strong one. But whatever the case may be, let it not be that there's anything that is going wrong against Nigeria. That's our own. They can have that's called politics. Politics is a game of the mind and numbers. So if you're not good in it, don't go in. It's a dirty game, really. At least in Nigeria. So whatever it is they're playing, in as much as it's not affecting the average man, but unfortunately it will affect the average man. But that's where we're going to stop. We're going to wrap it up here. What's your take on this? Do you think that Governor Umahi is right, that Wike nicodemously goes in the night to go see President Muhammad Buhari, even though he's an opposition party president, and maybe there's some things that goes on that makes him not to be able to talk against the government of the day boldly where he ought to? Or do you think it was just a way of getting back to Wike, and Wike just shut his mouth so that there will not be quarrel unnecessarily? Please do it to comment on the comment section. Tell us what you think, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.